If Antifa doesn't exist, then why do they have a Twitter page? Antifa Atlanta. If they don't exist, then why do they have a page, a website on Twitter? If they don't exist, why do they have it? That's a question I got for Joe Biden.
Enough programs that were easily accessible for veterans dealing with PTSD. So he decided to share something he says worked for him. Paintball. The events of September 11th, 2001 inspired many Americans to enlist in military service. Chris Aguayo was one of them. I shipped out to basic training on my 21st birthday. So I did 8 years. 4 years was my initial enlistment. Did a tour to Iraq. Came home early for shoulder surgery. Moved to Fort Bragg in 2009. Did a full year deployment to Afghanistan there. And it was while stationed at Fort Bragg in North Carolina that the Army sergeant received a life-changing invitation. In 2009, I had gone through a really dark time in my life, dealing with survivor's guilt from going home from Iraq early. I felt that I had turned my back and didn't do my part or do enough for my brothers. And in early 2010, one of my buddies with a group, a couple guys from my unit said, "Hey man, we're putting together this little scenario paintball team. Why don't you come out, get you out of the house, get you to do something." One game of paintball, and Chris Aguayo was hooked. You can take so to speak, the violence of war, but at the end, nobody's dying. There's no actual trauma. So you can take your aggression, your anger out in a positive way. Soon, spreading that positivity became Aguayo's new mission. He created Task Force Legion Milsim, an organization aimed at using paintball to help veterans battling PTSD. Today, there are chapters or companies based in several states, including here in Georgia. A lot of the guys, when you first start talking to them about, getting involved in paintball, they're a little hesitant. They're like, "Oh, it's paintball." And by the end of the day, they're talking, "Hey, how can I join? How can I get involved?" And it's that immediate reaction, that promise of hope and healing, that Chris Aguayo says leaves him humbled every time. At the end of the day, this is the legacy that I want to leave behind for my kid. I want him to be able to say, "This is what my dad did. This is how he helped other people." And it's important to note, Task Force Legion Milsim is open areas for both races, though it'll be
President Trump.
limited capacity fans. Fans who originally purchased tickets.
Joe Biden calls President Trump the worst president ever.
Fans who made a deposit, and from there,
boy, but yet
will be on a first come, first served
he hadn't
basis.
said anything worth a flip
And we are just hours
about
away from
all the
the
violence
first
in this
game of the
country.
playoffs. They open the wild card series this afternoon against
What?
the Cincinnati Reds.
One tweet on
Experience will be unlike
on
any
Twitter.
other for Braves fans who won't be allowed inside the park to cheer them on. Because Natalie
Enough is enough is what he said.
Another option potentially. Natalie,
Enough is enough. Sorry folks, but your e-bikes cannot be blocking the walkways. There's not enough room to get by this thing. Take it away from here. I was watching the debates last night, and when I heard Joe Biden say that Antifa does not exist, I laughed so friggin' hard. That man doesn't know anything about what's going on in this country. And he hasn't said hardly squat about all the violence. Nothing to stop it. Nothing about it. I mean, he's not for law and order. He says he's not going to go for the new Green Deal and all that stuff. Don't believe it. I sure don't. Snowball's chance in hell. That's what Joe Biden is. Snowball's chance in hell. On the street there to turn up the sidewalks again. Oh, Lord. Not again. Yeah, tearing the whole thing up. What the hell are they doing down here? Yellow, that's gas. Or something like that, I think. Or one of their lines. Oh. Looks like Georgia Power. That's gas supply for the dryers and water heater. And there's a gas leak. That's what's going on here. Yellow Utility Company discovered a leak. Looks like it's going to be about 2 weeks total. I sure would love to see this crosswalk here leveled out. It's like doing the whoopie-doos on a trail bike. The scooter sitting there speaks volumes to me, especially when there's a car parked over top of this ramp, which used to be striped out, and now it's not. That tells me something. No elderly disabled. Welcome. I finally got my Twitter page back, a Twitter page back. It's my 5th one since December. And I got my new batteries put in my wheelchair today. People with these e-bikes, I swear to God. It's a big being on the sidewalk. I'll talk to you later.
Wood Trace. That is where we find Fox 5's Janice Yu live tonight.
And Janice, that shooting involved sheriff's deputies and U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The scene looks a lot different than it did for hours this afternoon. All the investigators are gone. The crime tape is down. But we don't know a lot of details, especially about what led up to this shooting. But we do know this all happened as law enforcement was serving a murder warrant.
I don't feel good. I feel good about none of it.
Neighbors and family gathered outside of a DeKalb County condo complex after news that a man had been shot and killed. The man, a murder suspect, according to officials. DeKalb County Sheriff's deputies, along with the U.S. Marshals, were serving a murder warrant when shots were fired.
We were endeavoring on a murder warrant, and we got intel that the subject was actually at this particular location.
Lee Conwright says he knew the man who was killed. He says he was upset to hear what happened to his neighbor, and then even more so when he heard why law enforcement were at the man's house in the first place.
It's scary. We just live in a scary time, man.
No officers were hurt during this incident. Again, we're waiting on a lot of details from the GBI tonight, but we will be sure to bring them to you as soon as we get them. Live in DeKalb County, Janice Yu, Fox 5 News.
Until then, and until the election, in fact, many people are feeling stressed and anxious.
That's backed up by local health professionals. They spoke with Fox 5's Brian Hill about how to manage this election stress.
A counselor I spoke with says a lot of our clients are kind of at a breaking point. One thing experts say you can do is vote early, like here at the DeKalb County Elections Office, because it could give you a feeling of control. According to the American Psychological Association, most adults from both parties cite the political climate as a significant source of stress in their life. 62% of Republicans and 77% of Democrats.
People feel like, the country is in a worse state.
Get out and vote. From TV and radio ads to social media, experts say it can be hard to get away from politics right now, including local campaigns.
I have clients that are in minority groups and clients that are not in minority groups. Their stress is on the side of wanting to support our minority groups. A lot of them I talk to kind of are wrestling with their feelings and how much they should be feeling.
We talked with Monique Richardson, the whole nation. And that evening, I said, we'll find this man. And I can report today, we have found our suspect.
Murray pleaded not guilty to all charges today. His motive remains unclear. As for the deputies, they both suffered head wounds and face a long recovery. In Kentucky, the Attorney General wants to delay the release of the Breonna Taylor grand jury proceedings. She is the woman who died in Louisville.
For the RT-PCR because of the gaining popularity of the other test method.
The Georgia Department of Public Health explained to Fox 5, quote, DPH is in the process of onboarding facilities that do antigen testing into the electronic laboratory reporting system. And because CDC case definitions recently changed, we are doing some